The room falls silent. Your heart races. Sweat beads on your brow as the person across from you leans in, their voice rising. "You're wrong!" They snap, slamming their fist on the table. You freeze. Words fail. The argument slips through your fingers like sand. Sound familiar? What if I told you there's a way to never lose a debate again? Not by shouting louder, not by memorizing facts, but by wielding the invisible art of persuasion. Welcome to the world of Jedi mind tricks, where psychology meets strategy, and every conversation becomes a battlefield you're trained to dominate. Let's dive into the secrets that turn conflict into conquest. Every argument is a story, and whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. Jedi masters like Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't just wave their hands and mutter, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." They framed reality. Stormtroopers didn't question the statement because Obi-Wan anchored their thoughts in a new direction. You can do the same. Start by setting the stage. If someone says, "Your idea won't work," reframe it. "What if I told you this idea could solve 3 problems at once?" This shifts their mind from criticism to curiosity. Framing works because the human brain craves coherence. In a Stanford study, participants given identical statistics about a surgery framed as having a 90% survival rate felt far more optimistic than those told it had a 10% mortality rate. Words are levers. Pull the right ones, and you tilt the mental battlefield in your favor. For example, replace "this is a problem" with "this is an opportunity to innovate." Suddenly, resistance softens. Opponents become collaborators. Socrates never lost an argument. Why? He weaponized questions. When Luke Skywalker faced Jabba the Hutt's henchman, Bib Fortuna, he didn't yell or threaten. He said, "You will take me to Jabba now," paired with a subtle hand wave. The trick? He didn't tell, he guided. Modern Jedi tactics borrow this. Ask questions that lead your opponent to your conclusion. Suppose someone insists your plan is too risky. Instead of defending, ask, "What specific risks concern you most?" Then, if we mitigated those, would the plan's benefits outweigh the downsides? This Columbo technique forces them to articulate their fears, exposing weaknesses. Research shows people who explain their views often realize gaps in their logic. Like a Jedi revealing a Sith's deception, your questions become the mirror that shows them their own doubts. Darth Vader didn't conquer the galaxy with logic. He used fear. But Jedi Knights like Yoda teach a better path. Harness emotions without succumbing to them. When Emperor Palpatine taunted Luke with, "Give in to your anger," he was exploiting a primal truth. Arguments are won in the emotional brain, not the logical one. Here's how to flip the script. If someone is furious, validate their emotion first. "I completely get why you're upset. I'd feel the same in your position." This activates the reciprocity principle. They'll subconsciously feel obliged to reciprocate your empathy. Then, pivot to logic. Let's figure out a solution that works for both of us. By acknowledging their feelings, you drain their hostility like a lightsaber deflecting blaster bolts. Jedi mind tricks rarely involve brute force. Instead, they offer illusions. Remember when Obi-Wan told stormtroopers, "You don't need to see our identification"? He didn't erase their will. He gave them a choice that felt like their own. Apply this with the false dilemma tactic. Suppose a colleague resists a deadline. Say, "Would you prefer to finalize the report by Friday or handle the client call next week?" Both options serve you, but they feel autonomous. Psychologists call this an illusionary agency. In several studies, it was found that people were more likely to comply when presented with limited choices. For example, do you want to donate $5 or $10, compared to those who were asked open-endedly. By narrowing their options, you guide them to your desired outcome, like a Jedi subtly nudging a weak mind. In The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader's silence as Luke fruitlessly attacked him was more unnerving than any taunt. Silence is a weapon. When an opponent makes a shaky claim, pause, stare. Let the void amplify their insecurity. Watch as they backtrack, over-explain, or cave. Neuroscientists find silence triggers the brain's threat detection system, releasing cortisol, the stress hormone. In one experiment, it was found that negotiators who paused for a few seconds after making an offer were more likely to secure better deals. Use this. After stating your position, shut up. Let discomfort work like a Jedi's mind probe, unraveling their resolve. Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn mirrored Watto's mannerisms to gain rapport in The Phantom Menace. Unconscious mimicry, matching someone's posture, tone, or gestures, builds trust. Researchers at the University of Chicago found mimicry increases likability by 30%. If they lean back, lean back. If they speak softly, soften your voice. But here's the twist. Once rapport is built, break the pattern to seize control. Suddenly cross your arms or shift tone. This creates cognitive dissonance, making them subconsciously seek your approval. It's how Palpatine destabilized Anakin, first mirroring his ideals, then warping them. In A New Hope, Obi-Wan didn't ask stormtroopers to ignore the droids. He anchored their thoughts. These aren't the droids you're looking for. The first idea becomes the reference point. Use this in negotiations. If selling a car, start high. The asking price is $15,000. Even if they haggle down, their brain anchors to 15K, making 13K feel like a win. In arguments, start with your strongest point. This policy will cut costs by 30%, sets the tone. Everything after is judged against that anchor. In an experiment, it was revealed that people are more likely to comply with a request if it is followed by the word because, even if the reason provided is irrelevant. For instance, when someone says, "You'll do this because I have vital information," the because creates a sense of logic, making it harder to say no. Apply this by always giving a reason, however trivial. We should delay the project because it aligns with long-term goals. The brain craves causality. Feed it. Yoda didn't wait for Luke to doubt his training. He said, "You must unlearn what you have learned," preempting resistance. Anticipate objections and address them first. You might think this is too ambitious, but here's how we'll phase it. This inoculation effect weakens counter-arguments before they form. Studies show preemptive refutation reduces opposition by a significant percentage. It's like crafting a mental shield. Your opponent's blows glance off, leaving them disarmed. Jedi avoid fear, but Sith thrive on it. Sometimes, you must tap into darkness. If rational appeals fail, hint at consequences. If we don't act, the project fails and the client walks. Fear activates the amygdala, heightening suggestibility, but use sparingly. Overuse breeds resentment. In the end, Jedi mind tricks aren't about manipulation. They're about understanding. Master these techniques, and you'll never argue again. You'll negotiate, persuade, and guide. Stay calm, and let the force of psychology flow through you. Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video, and subscribe to Iron Drift for more content like this.